Welcome back to Baseball Rambles, everybody. Hope everybody out there is doing awesome, staying safe, getting ready for the summer. If you haven't hit like or subscribe, please do so. Can't tell you how much I appreciate your support. Best way you can help me out is by hitting like and subscribe, and give away prizes to subscribers just to say thank you for watching. So you're going to be able to get in on that and have one coming up soon. So back to the Toronto Blue Jays and this head scratcher of a season. And it really comes down to, will the Toronto Blue Jays make some big trades and sell before the trade deadline? And as I said in the vlog earlier this week, the Jays have sent out their annual renewal notice for season ticket holders, and in doing so has pushed up the deadline from September to 2 weeks before the trade deadline, which makes me think that there is some internal discussion about a possible rebuild or some big trades that they think might impact fan support and ultimately revenue for the Toronto Blue Jays. And in doing so, I have to agree. I think there's two big players that need to be traded, and we all know who they are. It's Bo and Vlad. And why? Well, it kind of stems back to earlier in their careers. The Blue Jays had an opportunity to sign Bo or Vlad to maybe not a long-term contract, but some of the other contracts that other teams have done with their young talent that looks promising, extending them 1 or 2 years past their arbitration years and really overpaying through that arbitration process to get them secure. And imagine if Toronto had done that with Bo and Vlad, maybe signing them through to the end of 2026 or 27 instead of next year, 2025. That would certainly extend the window for the Toronto Blue Jays. Their annual revenue might be even a little bit lower than the contracts they would have to pay now, giving the Toronto Blue Jays that flexibility to make additional moves to support that young talent core. However, that didn't happen, and now we're in a weird spot. Bo asked to be bought out and a contract through his arbitration years, which the Blue Jays have done, but in doing that, it kind of handcuffed them to Bo for just those arbitration years. There's been nothing public, but rumors circling around Bo's inner camp that he will test out free agency certainly, and he's not really entertaining or having any discussions with Toronto about a long-term contract. And that's what it would have to be now, a huge long-term contract, probably in excess of $250 million. And if we're talking big money, let's talk about Vlad. Same situation. Vladdy's probably still looking for that contract in excess of $300 million. He might be willing to sign it, at least more willing than Bo has. But now, if we don't have Bo, if we have all of our other talent that was surrounding this inner core aging and maybe a decline in their production, do we really want to overpay for Vladimir Guerrero? And I ultimately say no. And it's a shame, as I said earlier, that we didn't get a contract extension done earlier in their careers, because now we're handcuffed. Either they trade him away at the trade deadline this year, or Toronto tries to go all in for next year, hoping for some World Series run. And that begs the question, do you think the team this year is good enough to even make the playoffs? We're certainly not in playoff contention. I know we're just outside of it somehow, but we're also going to be fighting with other teams like the Houston Astros, Texas Rangers, Twins, some really competitive teams that's going to give Toronto a run, and doesn't necessarily guarantee that Toronto would even get a playoff spot. And fast forward to next year, Springer, a little bit older, Gausman, older, Kikuchi, gone, what's going on with Romano? A lot of variables is going to impact the Toronto Blue Jays moving forward, and nothing that guarantees them that they're going to have a successful playoff run next year. And if we're not going to be competitive this year, and we're not sure about being competitive to the postseason next year, what is the point of holding on to Bo and Vlad? I suggest it's time to trade them away, get some really decent prospects, maybe build it around the team that we have now, and really get that farm system going that is certainly depleted, and maybe give Jays fans a glimpse of what Toronto could be a couple years down the line. And I know that's tough to swallow a couple years down the line, but ultimately that's what we're looking at as the Toronto Blue Jays. So let's hope that they get it done, trade away Bo, Vlad, and then ultimately the other dominoes will fall and really give the Blue Jays organization a farm system to get excited about in the next couple of years. Let me know what you think in my comments below. Am I wrong about wanting to trade Bo and Vlad? Always appreciate to hear what you have to say. Hit that like and subscribe, and we'll ramble on soon. Take care, guys.